Welcome to my channel, Bow and Arrow Tarot. Today we're going to get right into the weekly reading for the sign of Capricorn. This is going to be for the week of January 25th to the 31st. So let's get right into pulling out your romance angel messages. And then we'll get into your animal spirits for the week. Alright, we have unrequited love, Capricorn. That just came out for Sagittarius. We have love yourself first. This is a regular one for my readings. It's come out for quite a few of the weeklies. And then we have healing family issues. So some of you are doing some healing work this week. Alright, so let's just go ahead and get your animal spirits out and see what that all means for you, Capricorn. Now, animal spirits, you can be resonating with their energies this week, tapping into that. They can represent individuals you're dealing with, stages you're going into in your life. So just take what applies to you as always, Capricorn. And if it doesn't apply to you, then it's not for you. You can just let it go. You know the reading can't be for everyone. So straight out, we have the tiger. Beautiful. Overcoming fear. The phoenix associated with the first chakra, the root or the base chakra at the bottom of the spine. And we have the buffalo. Wow. Heaven and earth combined, right? The buffalo represents heavenly wisdom associated with a strong earthly sort of essence, right, or element. Let's get right into it. The tiger, we're going to start off with. The tiger is, of course, fire element of, alchemical symbol for fire, fire elemental. The tiger is highly intuitive. You can see this by the crescent moon there at the third eye. Tigers hunt at night, and so the tiger is synonymous in a lot of ways in cultures worldwide with fear in some way. Oftentimes you will see a tiger on tarot cards when you're looking at different cards. Sometimes you'll see the tiger on the Fool in certain decks because it represents overcoming fear. And so here we have the tiger in the sense of the animal spirit, and the animal spirit of the tiger is fearless. She is strong, feminine energy associated with moon energy, associated with the phases, the lunar phases, certainly. And this is just a beautiful, strong energy as far as just overcoming any fears you have in your life and learning how to really listen to your intuitive voice as a sense of a source of self-confidence. The High Priestess is the card for intuitive ability, but she's also the highest card in the deck for self-confidence, because intuition and listening to your intuition is a way to increase your self-confidence, right? And you have to also, have a little bit of self-confidence to take that step in the first place. There are two energies that work very well together and that bounce off of each other and increase each other. And here we're talking about that energy as well with the tiger. Now, the phoenix is associated with the root chakra, the very first chakra at the base of the spine. And here we're talking about overcoming suffering. It's time to sort of this is when we decide to finally really let go of baggage that we've held on to, right? Maybe old hurts or pains, or even bridges that we've allowed to, communications or bridges we have allowed to sort of fall apart between us and loved ones or people who are close to us in our lives, and never having mended those bridges. This is now a feeling of really sort of letting all of it go. This is not necessarily being angry about it and forgetting it. It's also not necessarily like running back to try to fix it all when it can't be fixed, but it's literally just letting it go and realizing it's time for it to be in the past, and it's time for you not to sort of have to suffer with it anymore. And out of this rises, it's the whole thing with the phoenix rising out of the ashes of that, just kind of really burning it and burying it, and not burying it, but just letting it go and therefore burning it, right? You get a new sense of self, a new sense of confidence, a new sense of life in general, of moving forward. You know, sometimes holding on to things in the past is what can make us feel very old and slow, because it's like we're not actually moving forward, right? When you're moving forward and living your life, you actually feel younger. All right, so now you have the buffalo energy coming in, and the buffalo is beautiful animal spirit. Again, Capricorn, very strong. This is alchemical symbol for earth and the earthy elemental. And the buffalo is really the animal that sort of fuses or bridges the heavens, the wisdom of the heavens, the spiritual, with the strength of a strong earthly component, right? The buffalo is not afraid of anything, because the buffalo type of animal spirit, person who's resonating with this, they're going to look at any obstacle or any difficult time in their lives that they have to go through. They're going to look at those always as an opportunity for them to transcend themselves, right? Always as an opportunity for them to learn something spiritually and to gain some wisdom. And so they're really, truly not afraid. They have the experience of having done this in the past, and so they already have a certain amount of wisdom, which of course feeds into their self-confidence and their sense of strength to be able to go through things, because they have the experience of having done it before. And so they know, they understand the nature of difficulty in life, but they already have proven to themselves time and time again that it is always worth it to go through those difficulties, because there is something really strong to learn there. And so this is a beautiful and very unique animal spirit, because it bridges the spirit and the earth so strongly together. All right, Capricorn, let's get right into your spreads for the week. Now, these are outlooks for you. These may or may not resonate with you. Again, just as those those animal spirits, fire. And of course, the phoenix is associated with the alchemical element of ether or spirit, and that is the symbol at the top of the card there for that. Tiger, of course, is fire, and buffalo is earth. So strong, you know, a nice, strong selection of animal spirits for you this week, Capricorn. All very, very strong ones, right? In terms of big changes, big energies coming in. Now, these forecasts are intended to be separate from each other, so you may only resonate with one or a portion of it. We have 8 of Swords, 9 of Pentacles, and the King of Swords. So 8 of Swords is real toxic in general. It's a feeling of really not being in control, being alienated from others. Oftentimes, though, this is as a result of our own sort of limited way of thinking. So Capricorn, you're coming into the week with this kind of energy. I wonder what this is all about, you know, that this is the energy you're coming into, because you're being met with the 9 of Pentacles, which is someone who is very sort of very ambitious, very sort of, I want to say, successful, right? Yet you're coming into the week with this energy. Is this a feeling? I wonder if this is a feeling for some of you. This may be a feeling of, I want to say, family issues here. Because it feels to me like this is a competitive sort of energy here between you and this person. And it feels like a family thing. Like this may be a sister or a cousin or an older brother, sister, what have you. But there is some feeling here, because you're coming into the week, Capricorn, with this energy. And 8 of Swords can be extremely toxic. Sometimes this is a gaslighter, or somebody who plays the victim a lot. But also, it can also sometimes mean that, for instance, like you, Capricorn, I feel like here you do feel very much like the victim here. You feel a little bit like you are, you know, your choices or your actions to a certain degree have been limited, but you know, I feel like you've succumbed to family pressure here, right? Because you have a King of Swords, and this seems to be the person who's constantly, this is a strong family energy of like this individual here is the one who's probably always comparing the two of you, or they may be playing the both of you off each other. They may have very high expectations of both of you, and for some reason you feel like you've just not lived up to them. There is a feeling of you being treated unfairly to a certain degree, and I think you feel a little bit like this is just kind of your lot with the family that you're dealt with. The one thing, though, to understand about the 8 of Swords is if you do feel like this is definitely a case of trying to get over your fear, right, with that tiger energy, and really face up to things, because Eight of Swords indicates generally that most of the time the reason why we are bound or we feel like we can't make the right decisions or make any decisions, right? We're bound, we're blindfolded. It's really because of your own actions. You know, it's your own actions. It could be your own way of looking at things. It may be very narrow, right? But oftentimes, this is a wake-up call for you to realize that you have all of the ability within you to get out of this situation. You can't really blame those around you, right? And this week you're coming into this Nine of Pentacles with this person around you. They do seem to have it all. They do seem to be extremely successful. But again, remember, with Eight of Swords, this is a real kind of getting over fear and waking up to the fact that you have everything that it takes to accomplish this level as well. Even if you are sort of, you know, even if things have been stacked against you by the family, this can all be part of healing the family issues as well, having this conversation. Because the one thing about the King of Swords is that he demands honesty. So it could very well be that if you're brave enough to be honest with the right people, this week could be a big week of healing and you finally breaking out of this feeling of being a victim. Eight of Pentacles, Four of Cups, Four of Wands. So 2 4s. Eight of Pentacles, of course, is boundaries that we put on ourselves, restrictions, being very disciplined so that we can get a task done. Something very important we want to accomplish, and the only way we're going to accomplish it is if we keep working towards it, and this is what you're doing right now, right? So you're really coming into the week, some of you Capricorns, working very, very hard. And it's interesting because you have a Four of Cups energy that's coming in this week that you're met with. It could be that you're trying to help somebody out with something and they're really not willing to accept your cup of love. They're being really obstinate about it because this is the energy that meets you, this Four of Cups. There is another one, though. Four of Wands is where you round off the week sort of with a new sort of level of commitment in a relationship, right? Somewhere along the line here, this Four of Cups, this is a feeling of something going on somewhere. Somebody's either trying to help you or you're trying to help somebody else in some way and they're really just not accepting it. And for some reason it is impacting you because you do round off your week with a Four of Wands, which is a strong new relationship. Yet this feeling here of not wanting to accept this cup of love right away, it could be a Capricorn that this may be your love interest and they are demanding for you to be a little bit more sort of worthy, right? Because sometimes Four of Cups is when we say to somebody, look, you know, you're showing me a cup of love, but what does that mean? What should I expect of it? You know, this is like a level of discernment as well sometimes where we're just not willing to accept just any old cup. And it feels to me, Capricorn, like this week, you've been working very hard in your career and your finances and all of that. But when you hand your cup of love to this person, they're going to make you do a bit more. They want you to do a bit more. They're not willing to just accept it just like that. And you may have to sort of, you know what I mean? You may have to work a little bit harder. It may feel in the beginning like unrequited love. But interestingly enough, it turns into a nice love connection by the end because you do round off with a Four of Wands, which is a new love connection. So it just feels to me like it may not be that they don't want it all together, but it's more a case of them wanting you to really show them something more than just like a flirtation or invite me out or whatever. I think the person you're dealing with is somebody who really wants you to sort of show to them that you're worth their time, you know, or they simply aren't making it that easy for you, you know, and that's a good thing in this day and age. It shows that this is somebody who has perhaps more to give and they're being a little bit more discerning, you know. Magician energy, Seven of Swords, and the Page of Cups. So this is your last spread. Interesting. Some of you are coming into this week, Capricorn, with Magician energy, a real feeling of being on top of your game. You know what I mean? The Magician is the one who makes it look easy. He makes it look like it's all magic, but a lot of this is talent. The Magician is one of the highest cards in the deck for talent and the ability to sort of accomplish things, right? Because you know what you're good at. You know exactly how to use what, when, and so you're being really sort of, you're really just at a high level at whatever it is you're doing right now, whether that's in your career or your craft or your creative ability. You're just resonating with a really high level of sort of talent and ability, and everyone around you is seeing this. You're coming into the week with a Seven of Swords meeting you, so someone is being quite treacherous about something. Seven of Swords is treachery, and this is usually the thief in the night. I call this my dream thief. This is a person who's usually very close to you, Capricorn. They can oftentimes be even a very close friend, or somebody who on the surface seems to really love you and big you up and be your buddy, but this is oftentimes a very sort of toxic energy from someone who may indeed love you and care for you, but they also have this weird sort of sycophantish energy where they just want to have what you have also. They love you, but they want to somehow be you too. And it's a weird, twisted kind of energy sometimes. Oftentimes, these are people who are like, they may even be stabbing you in the back, you don't even realize it. This is the card for futility also. So sometimes things aren't working out for you and you don't realize why, and it turns out it's because somebody has been actively trying to screw your plans up, or just doing stuff you would never imagine. So be very careful with this energy. This is an energy that's coming towards you this week, so it's someone who is actively being like this, right, with you. If you were resonating with this energy yourself, then it would be a case of futility. You're trying everything and nothing's working. But this week, for this to come into you, this is somebody who's, and I think you're going to find out who it is. It's going to be someone, I think, who is trying to mess you up in love, because you round your week up with a Page of Cups. And Page of Cups is really sort of that initial sort of overcoming the initial fear of expressing yourself. With pages, we're always overcoming fear. It's always the earthy aspect. So here with Page of Cups, what's the initial fear in love? It's the fear of rejection, being jealous of others, being maybe a little possessive, or insecure. These are all of like the initial stages of, wanting to have a relationship and the fears that are associated with it, right? So with Page of Cups, we see you like overcoming that and perhaps giving somebody a token of your love and saying, look, yeah, I'd like to get to know you. I'd like to talk to you. It's interesting that this was what will come out of this week after you have the Seven of Swords. It could very well be that somebody's coming into you with this cup of love, right? Someone, though, is still kind of, it could be that because you're resonating so high this week with this magician talent, and you're seeing this reading, maybe you're paying attention, right? If you find out what the situation here is, the Seven of Swords, who's being very toxic around you, or what's happening around you that's causing things to certainly not really work out, I think that this is the thing that you will find out about. And somehow it does lead you to somebody wanting to sort of get to know you. It could be that things were really misunderstood before. There could have been a miscommunication with somebody that was a result of somebody playing games, right, Capricorn? And you may find out about this week. And it sort of just fixes everything, or certainly smooths out all the miscommunication, because for whatever reason, rooting out this toxic energy, it's like it's making room for someone to come in and offer you like a genuine token of their affection. This could be, like I said, someone who stayed away or was kept away by sort of games that were being played behind your back. But this week it all comes out in the open, and it feels strongly like a real sort of awakening to all the pettiness that's around you as well, So be real careful. Capricorn, if you're resonating with this is really sort of also a wake-up call about the type of people you're having around you that you call your friends. It's time to be way more careful and way more sort of selective as well. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. This is your reading, January 25th to the 31st. For the lovely sign of Capricorn. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to hit the bell. Check out your other readings in the description. And you can follow the links on top of your screen if you want to get a private reading. If you're an international booker, just email me and I can schedule you manually. All right, guys. But for right now, Capricorn, have a wonderful week. And I'll see you next week for your weekly. Bye-bye.